Good evening and welcome to Telling Tales. Here we tell atmospheric stories together through the medium of tabletop role-playing games. It's Monday night, which means that we are playing Vaesen, Mythic Britain and Ireland. Quite a chunk through our third arc of this now. And excited to get going on today's session. But before we do, below the video are links to our YouTube if you're watching on Twitch, or Twitch if you're watching on YouTube, our social media accounts, our Discord if you want to come join us and chat with us on there, which you should because it's very nice, and it's also the best place to get up-to-date information on what's running and when. And also our Patreon. So if you enjoy what we do on the channel, you can support us there. Other things we do on the channel are Simba Room on a Wednesday, which is our longest running show on the channel. And also once or soon moving up to twice a month, a different one-shot adventure on weekend days. The next one I think now is the one that I am running on Sunday the 14th of May, which is a Meatloaf Bat Out of Hell based RPG of my creation. It's going to be ridiculous, but also hopefully mildly atmospheric and cool. All of our old content is on our YouTube for you to look at. So if you want a large collection of RPG content, you can find that there. Cool. Let's go on to recaps for the last week's session. So let's bring on John, who plays B.
Hello.
Hey, John. So at the end of the previous session, B had a look in Mosling's room while poking around the house looking for what is thought to be a fairy. Tell us what you found in there.
So I found Mosling's room much as I would expect to find it, but with a piece of model train track sitting on his pillow. B made the assumption that this wasn't his normal sleeping arrangement, and went to go fetch him and show him. To which Mosling replied, "That's a very nice bit of train that you've got for Adam, but why is it on my pillow?" More or less. B then explained that no, it was just there, and it may have been a gift from our house guest. And Mosling decided that he would quite like to sleep somewhere else for the night, and left immediately.
Making his excuses, of course, that he needed to be home for unrelated reasons.
Yes, yes.
Because it wouldn't do to admit that anything had bothered him. Cool, thanks. So let's bring on Inga, who plays Constance. Hey, Inga. So a bunch of the party, barring Constance and Hooks, went out for various reasons. And while they were out, Constance decided to try something.
So she had done a bit more reading. She'd finally found something useful on fairies, which was about a tip to drive them away by walking their paths and ringing a bell from the church and sprinkling holy water. And so obviously, what a great idea. So she finds herself a bell and decides to give this a go. Huck's also found some other info about fairies liking nature and stuff, but that's irrelevant. We don't care about that, or at least Constance doesn't. So she had a chat with Hawkins as well to see if she could figure out where they might be coming from, but it seemed like it's just possibly all over the place. And so practically dousing the house in holy water if possible, but certainly trying to get at least the run up to Mosling's room to try and make that a safer spot for him.
Cool, thanks. And let's bring on Sam, who plays Hooks.
Hello.
Hey, Sam. Hooks went a slightly different way around.
Yeah, I did.
The same problem.
Yeah. So basically, I kind of came to I think I got some help from Bonneville in the whole finding information about the fairies from a book. He found out that they can like nature, and if you outsmart them, then they'll kind of admit defeat effectively, in a sense. So clearly, Hux had the genius idea to go and get some nature. So I went outside and didn't succeed at catching a rat, but I did succeed at catching lots of dirt and bugs and things. And brought that in a big old bucket, and then thought, well, where is this fairy most likely to be? And went into Mosling Bossmark's room. And then, because obviously you have to outsmart the fairy, turn the light off it in the dark.
Cool. Thanks. Partway through this, Constance and Hux had a little conversation, didn't they? But I think at the end of the session, Hux was back to hiding in the dark.
I was, yes.
Yeah.
I think I kind of made my presence known, and we had a bit of a chat about that fairy, and then went our own ways once again.
Yeah. Cool. Let's bring on Steve, who plays Henry. Hey, Steve.
Hi there.
You and B went for an evening at the theatre to find more about Rachel Brown.
Yes. Yes, so Rachel Brown is this person that passed Gladys Pugh the Spiritus. So we're trying to track her down to sort of find out more about her, and maybe alternate ways of getting rid of this Spiritus, this evil bug creature that is currently possessing Gladys. So yes, we went to Drury Lane. Rachel Brown is a member of the theatre there. We bumped into Mosling as we arrived. So Mosling hadn't gone home immediately. He'd sort of done some other stuff, and then arrived there a bit to our surprise. But that was useful because we could then cover both entrance and exit, or side door, to the theatre whilst I went in and kept an eye on Rachel Brown within the theatre itself. The play was A Midsummer Night's Dream, and managed to spot Rachel Brown in the crowd. Got a good seat to keep an eye on her. You know, she wasn't with anybody. She didn't do anything unusual. The play was pretty good as far as it goes. And then, sort of as it ended, there was a bit of a surprise, which I guess is the next
so let's bring
recap.
on Justin, who plays Gail Mosling Forcemark. So worth noting at this point as well that the group, like for Pete, if anybody's not watched before, the group are kind of investigating three things. One of which is a Spiritus, which a woman named Gladys Pugh came to you to discuss in the previous arc. There is also what is believed to be a sea serpent, which in the first session of this arc kind of took somebody into the Thames, and is also what Mr. Sykes thinks that he saw many years ago. And then finally, what is believed to be a fairy has cropped up, maybe or maybe not following up opening this particular corridor in your own society headquarters. But yes, the end of last session, Justin, if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, so right towards the end of the performance, there was a huge bang which distracted it came during Puck's speech, and the audience maybe thought it was part of the effects, but everyone was a bit confused. The actors continued on, and the bang and the crash could all be heard even outside of the theatre, where Mosling and B were observing. It came from towards the river, was that right?
Yes, you believe it came from towards the river. Yeah. Constance and Hux did not hear it back at the house. But yes, so basically the crowd in the theatre kind of settled after a moment and clapped the end of the performance, though kind of lacklustily compared to what you would have expected if that hadn't happened. What are you all doing, you three that are around that area?
Mosling will probably head towards the crash, but like
so you will pass B, to go that in that direction.
I will give Mosling a nod, but I will stay where I am, watching the door.
Okay.
And yes, I will do my best to follow Rachel Brown out, at a discreet distance, and
sticking with the plan.
Yes.
Okay. let's follow Gale first. Justin, is Gale making some pace towards the river?
Yeah. Like I've got nothing to weigh me down. I don't have my camera with me, so
Okay.
I'll be off at a good pace.
You could brisk walk it in, I would say, 8 minutes.
And what if I try to run fast using my agility? My famous agility.
Yeah, I'm happy for you to not have to roll for that. If you're like happy that you could, run for say half a mile,
Unclear.
then I'll say 5 to 6 minutes for you to get there.
Cool.
So, and as you get closer, you kind of the crowd that's moving in that direction begins to grow, and you have to kind of almost bustle your way through at times. And when you get, are you going to push through a crowd that has formed at the river bank? Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. Okay. So you get through that, and before you manage to get through it, you see what looks like a bit of smoke kind of rising from the riverbank. Cool. And as you manage to get right to the sort of barrier, and you can see that a not insubstantial boat has essentially smashed up against the side of the riverbank.
Is it kind of has the hull been breached such that it's taking on water, or is it what's going on? Do I need an investigation roll?
Yeah, sure. Make me a roll.
No successes. I don't know what's going on. It's too confusing.
No, you do know a bit of what's going on. So you can see that there are a few people who have either thrown ropes up or been thrown ropes down and are essentially coming up onto the bank from the ship. You might assume that means that it is taking on water, or they're just escaping in, just as a safety precaution. But they're getting up into a section of the crowd that's a little further down from you, so you can't hear any. And there's a lot of babble, so you can't hear anything that they may or may not be saying as they're getting up onto the bank at this point. Let's cut back to the theatre for a moment. So the crowd has sort of settled now. Obviously when a sound like that happens, the concern is for their safety initially. Once it becomes clear, they've been settled slightly by the fact that the performers have continued with the performance. And then as they've realized that, there's not dust falling from the ceiling and there's not anything collapsing in there, so everybody begins to kind of leave at a normal pace. And Rachel Brown gets up and looks like she intends to leave. So are you sort of trailing her outside?
Yes, that would be my intention.
She leaves as normal. John, there is a group of people leaving. So can you make me vigilance is probably appropriate, is it? I think.
Can I consider her my prey? Because I have Bloodhound, which gives +2 vigilance when tracking prey.
Perfect. Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm happy with that.
That's not disturbing.
Three successes.
Okay. Yes, you immediately spot her as she leaves. Steve, is Henry leaving a little bit of space?
Yes, I am not great at the sneaky arts, so I'll be dropping back a bit, sort of catching B's eyes if I can to ensure that she's on the case, and then yes, sort of easing back a bit, and then.
Okay, is B also going to follow and essentially tail Bonneville? Is that kind of your plan?
I think I was planning that I was just the sneakiest one, so I was going to be closest to Rachel Brown, and Bonneville was going to be tailing me.
Okay, in that case, John, can you make a stealth roll, please? And Steve, can you make a vigilance roll?
Sure can.
Can I just say, aren't you meant to be a private investigator, Steve?
Look, I am. Look. There are different ways of dealing with things. It's not all about sneaking around.
Sneaky. Can you think of a more sneakity sneak character than private investigator?
Also 3 successes.
Oh wow!
Nice.
I just get 1 success for vigilance with 8 dice.
Okay. John, can you please make me another vigilance roll that's not a bonusy one? This is kind of abnormal because normally you would make 1 kind of roll per scene for a particular thing, but the vigilance is not to do with Rachel Brown, and thus it seems fair to have you make a separate roll for a separate
If it's that
situation.
bloody journalist.
It was 1 success.
Okay. You follow Rachel Brown for a little while, and you move into a sort of residential street, and you round the corner, and Steve, Henry is trailing slightly behind, and then as you are about to round that same corner, straight on as the street continues on, you see a figure in the shadows just standing still and watching you.
Okay, so B's gone around the corner, and there's somebody.
So B's gone left.
Yeah.
So Rachel Brown went left. B has followed Rachel Brown left around the corner. And then as you get to, just as you're about to hit that corner and turn left, you see that as the road continues straight on, because this is kind of a side street that they've gone down.
Sure.
You can see that in the shadow cast by the house on the other side of the street is a figure standing and watching you.
What do they look like? Can I instantly recognize them?
You would say their figure is quite familiar. And all of a sudden, the clearness of the night dawns upon you.
Oh.
And you're suddenly very aware of the phase of the moon.
Yeah. That's not great, really.
Do you stop and consider for a moment?
Yes.
Okay. John, B realizes that she can no longer hear Henry's footsteps where she would expect them to be behind her. Assuming you were keeping a reasonably, all of a sudden, the point that you would expect the footsteps to come around the corner, they don't.
I will keep going regardless.
Okay, it's fine.
I think I would probably immediately turn around and head with a quickened step back to some public area.
Okay. In that case, I'm happy that B hears footsteps running away back towards the theatre. However, You rolled very well. You see Rachel Brown's house that she goes into. It's a townhouse. She's presumably got a reasonable amount of money, or somebody that she lives with has a reasonable amount of money because it's quite a nice house. But yeah, you've essentially got her address now. So if that's all that you want, if you're happy that that's your fill for the night, then you have that. But it's up to you.
I think I might want to see if I can glean any other information from the outside of the house. Such as, do I think she lives with other people? Are there multiple lights on?
Okay, sure. When she goes in, the sort of sitting room light, you would assume, the downstairs front light, is lit. So you assume there was nobody else in there when she went in. And it's reasonably late in this time period, probably for somebody else to come home now. So there's a good chance that she lives there on her own.
Right. I am happy to take that information and try and retrace Henry's steps.
Okay. So I would say that you catch up to him probably halfway back to the theatre. Are you presumably going at some speed, considering you heard running footsteps leaving?
Yeah.
Okay. So you catch back up to Henry in a sort of the point where it kind of turns from a residential area into a bit more of a social kind of area with sort of cafes and stuff. Henry presumably looking a little peaky.
Is there anything following us?
I will give a sneaky look over my shoulder.
No.
Nothing.
You sure?
Nothing I can see.
I would probably sort of stop and by a corner and peer around back into the into the street, and I presume I can't see anything either. Oh, thank God.
Might help if you tell me what I'm supposed to be looking for.
It's the thing that there's someone or something hunting me. There's back at the first time we met, there was at the train station. Though I thought I saw something. There's the thing that attacked me a month or so ago now. It's been following me, and it's just been. I wasn't sure all the time. I just saw it in the street. I haven't seen it for several weeks, but it was definitely. Well, it was a figure. I don't know. It's. Sorry, I had to rush back. I couldn't risk it. Were you able to find where Rachel Brown lives?
Yep.
Oh, good.
It's a nice house. Probably lives alone.
Good. Okay.
Okay, let's come back to Mosling. Oh, sorry. Yeah, go on, John.
I was going to say, do you hear the noise from inside?
Oh, well, there was some noise at the end of the performance. Yes.
Mosling went to investigate. Sounded like something at the river.
Should we go there now?
Unless you want to head straight home.
No. I think it's. I think it'll be fine. It's. I don't think it. Yeah, I think it just likes to try to scare me. I don't know what it wants, but I think I'll be fine with others around.
Cool. Let's cut to Mosling.
Cool.
Do you want to try and move closer to the people coming up?
Sure. Yeah. See if I could just. Yes. I mean, I was thinking about doing something like that.
Okay. Can you make me? I was going to say a manipulation roll, but again, you'll be able to use inspiration because of your skill if you want to. Because, people close to the action don't want to move away from it to let somebody else in. So,
So I'll try and be charming to charm my way through. And I roll 8 dice and I get 1 success.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you managed to convince a few people to move out of the way. So you're still sort of 2 or 3 people back from the small sort of semicircle that has formed to allow people up. But you are able to overhear sort of some bits of conversation between a couple of the people that have come up from the boat and are standing there, looking a little sort of aghast.
What's the gist?
One of them says to the other, I mean, didn't that... We just suddenly went off course. Yeah. Jones on the deck said that he thought he saw something in the water, and then... I don't know, it's like it... He seems to reckon it hit us. Don't know what it could have been. Surely not a whale here. I don't know. Look, nearly everybody's up now. And then they go and start helping people up from the edge.
Would anyone notice anyone going the other way onto the boat?
I think people would notice. That's not to say you can't try and do it if you want. Would they mind? They might notice. Would they mind?
I'm going to do it. We're going to go on the boat and I'm going to try and make my way towards this. See if I can find out if I can find the bridge. The Thames isn't that deep. Like, if it runs aground, like, it's not going to... Let's do it. Let's live dangerously.
Okay.
See if I can find the breach and see if I can use investigation without, going up to it to see... I don't know, shards of sea serpent skin,
All right, you managed to get down just as sort of the last person is. There's 2 ropes, right? So as the last person is going up the left-hand rope, you sort of lower yourself down the right-hand one, and a couple of people go, "Oi, what are you doing?" But they're not going to go back down there. Like, they've abandoned it. They're not going to go back down to try and get you.
Cool. This seems obviously a good idea then.
So you think that from what you glanced as you got up, you think that there were 7 or 8 people on this. So it's not like, it's a fishing
okay. It's not like a
boat. So it's not
right.
Yeah, it's not like a rowing like a rowing
No, I
boat,
was thinking more like a kind of a steamer or something, but
yeah, I mean,
small
it's
steamer.
let's call it like a proto trawler. So yeah, bigger than like a small fishing boat, but not like a full Titanic size passenger ship.
Boats have 2 sizes, right?
Yeah. Rowing boat and Titanic, those are the two sizes.
I've played Civ. I know that there's only a few options when it comes to boats.
So, are you going to presumably the non-bank side of the boat to see if you can see down? And
I was going to descend into the ship and see what from the inside could be.
Oh,
seen.
okay, cool. Yeah, so you go down to the lower deck, and yeah, make me an investigation roll, please.
One thing I'm going to be looking out for is if the ship is full of pork.
It's not.
Damn. That would have been a really easy explanation. Well, I got 2 successes.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you spend a few minutes in here. You can see that there is a small breach on, I don't know, both
side.
sides, but the right-hand side as you're looking to the front of the boat. Yeah, that's fine. Which is where it has presumably hit the bank and split. So there is some water coming in, but it's not by any means sort of pouring in.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to
And
be an hour before there's an issue.
There's no, you know, big sea serpent shaped tooth marks on the hull.
No, but if that's starboard, port side, there is essentially a dent, which you think could well be attributed to the sea serpent sort of
sea serpent
hitting it. Yeah.
Is it? Would I describe it as one hell of a dent?
Yes, you would. Yeah.
Right. Well,
and I'm sure you will at a later date.
If only I had my camera with me. That damn fairies cost me again. Oh bloody hell! I wonder if there's probably nothing to do. No, with that I will try and make my way kind of like vaguely, you know, quietly off the boat. If there's a way of doing it more stealthily, I'll opt for that than just kind of sticking my head above. But if there's not, then that's fair enough.
You lower yourself into the river
if you want to. Yeah.
That's what you gotta do.
Otherwise, it's up the rope.
Then I'll do that.
Yeah. Okay. Can you make me an agility roll?
Yeah. I can make an agility roll. I'm not sure I'll be able to pass an agility roll, but
I'm happy there's no issue with lowering yourself down, but lifting your own body weight a number of feet up the side, you know.
Oh no, 2 5s and a 3, no successes.
Okay. I'm just going to say that affects the stealthiness of you being it. So you get partway up, and you know you're going at a reasonably slow speed. And people are like the people from the boat are kind of occasionally looking over, and at one point they look over and you're partway up, and they go, "Oh, is that bloke?" And they basically heave you up in sort of 2 or 3 quick motions.
Thank you.
What were you doing down there?
I fell in. All right, I didn't fall in.
Are you some type of what, adrenaline junkie or a journalist or what?
I look around and
were you trying to nick from the boat?
Is one of you the captain of this ship?
One of the 2 people that you had seen previously talking says, yes, I am.
I give him my card and say, if you want to know more about what happened, come to this address tomorrow. And with that, I try and disappear into the crowd.
I love
we've got to start being more cool, guys.
And immediately walking straight.
And just grabs me and goes,
not
no,
getting
come
like
back
more
right
away.
Yeah, I was kind of going to ask you to roll
me.
for stealth, but actually I'm happy that he's bemused enough by your entire actions in the last 5 minutes that he doesn't make any move to follow you. Because
you need some smoke bombs next.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Look, we are a very serious and cool organization. We need to be more serious and cool. So
I would like you to just have like a curtain that you can hold up at a street corner, and then you run round the street corner as you drop the curtain.
A blanket just to throw up in the air and then that's the side.
Yeah. Okay, so as you get out of this throng of people, you see Bonneville and B walking towards you.
Give them a wave. And they don't respond apparently.
Are we near enough to? I did.
Yes, yeah.
Right, okay. It's not like from across the street.
No, you see Moslin kind of emerge from this group of people.
Right,
very exciting.
What's What's going on there?
Seems I kind of like looking around to make sure we're not being observed too much. I will say it seems like the serpent crashed into the port side of this this vessel at some speed, made a hell of a dent.
Is there any sign of it?
The dent, yeah, no, I went down and it's pretty big, but the sea serpent nowhere to be seen. But then again, it's dark and I didn't really look.
Might be injured.
Might be.
Possible
be.
to slow down.
I gave the captain of the vessel our card and told him to call round tomorrow and we can have a conversation with him to see if he has any more information. And we can spend that time thinking of things that we might say to him that make us sound impressive.
Why do we need to sound impressive?
I just think we should take ourselves more seriously. We're a very serious and interesting organisation and we should portray ourselves as such.
Cut to Huck sitting in the dark with a pot of dirt.
Make it
And
happen, Jonny.
Constance drenching the house in holy water. It's not just me being silly.
I
I'm
had
gonna
my-
literally get home and be sliding over the floor for the stuff.
If I had my camera with me, I'd have been able to take some photos, but unfortunately, we won't have anything to give the reporters when they come knocking and asking why we didn't say anything.
Well, talking of which, is it worth... I mean, I'm sure he'll find out about it soon enough, but at least if we make an effort to, I don't know, send him a telegram or something.
I can call round. I can call round his office and leave a note in the morning, tell him that we'll visit him tomorrow as well. I don't like him coming around the house.
I was just thinking of just letting him know that something had happened on the river, and I'm not sure we need to get.
That's true.
We don't need to do his job for him.
That's true. That's true. Well, I'll say that then. It's a good idea, Bonneville. Well, it's been enjoyable, but really, I am late.
Where are you going tonight, Mosling?
I'm going home.
All right. I'll see you in the morning then.
See you in the morning. And I'll make my way towards the Times building.
Okay.
Cool. Well, I guess
Fee and
we.
Henry going back to Rose house.
I'll still be, looking down side streets for any signs of things following me.
As will I be now.
So I would say that this is probably only actually about... Well, it's not very much later than they would have been expecting you home at all, actually. Because your time going there and back and like chatting to Mosling and that extra distance is probably only another 10 minutes to what you would have been if you just tracked her and gone back. And they didn't know where you'd be tracking her to. So when you arrive home, they're not sort of shocked that you weren't back any earlier. Hux presumably is still in Mosling's room.
What sort of time of night is it now?
Nearing 10.
I imagine at some point I will have got hungry, gone to get a snack, and come back to the room. But yes, otherwise I'm still in the room. I might be downstairs when they happen to arrive. I could roll a dice randomly to decide.
If you're
just
going
follow
to
the
pop
sleep.
out... Yeah, roll a dice, Sam, and we'll
That's
see.
fun. Let's say it's a 50-50. I am getting a snack.
Okay.
I think I'm determined to make it myself because I'm a bit sick of Hawkins always doing all the things. So Hawkins probably pestered me, and I was like, I'm buttering myself some bread as you come in.
Is there mud on the bread too?
What is Constance doing at this time? Because I think you finished...
Yeah, I don't think that would have been too long a ritual. Back in with Gladys, I think it left over, that was like dinner time, so it was a while ago now. So yeah.
Yeah.
go join for dinner and then back up for, non 101 knitting and verses and such.
Okay. Rupert and Eleanor are not around when you get back. So there's just hooks in the kitchen visible to you when you come in.
Were the walls noticeably damp?
No, I would say that the small amount that was drizzled around has sort of dried by this point.
Stopping
Sort of-
hosed, so.
You sort of walk in and go, "Why does it smell so holy in here?"
You walk in and just start sizzling. Yeah, I guess seeing you come in the door, I'll just go, good hunting.
For
Well-
us, at least.
What do you mean?
We found Rachel's address, so someone can call around in daylight hours.
Nice. And she didn't spot you or anything.
Not that I know of.
Well done. You look pale, Bonneville.
Yeah, there's. I was. Look, there's something been
The thing
following
again,
me.
was it?
Yeah.
I suppose it's been a wee while, hasn't it?
It has been. It's pretty stealthy.
I think we're going to have to do something about that. If it keeps showing up, you can't just keep being hunted by this thing forever.
Yeah, well, I'd certainly like to see the back of it.
As if we needed someone else to deal with right now, but probably best not to ignore it. I ain't seen no fairy.
Did they?
Well-
You were trying? Did I know that you were going to be trying stuff out? Okay.
I think you knew I was vaguely interested in, stuff, doing something to get the fairy without you don't know any details. So, yeah.
It was more where we were at as well.
Oh, yeah.
Ship ran aground in the Thames. Looks like it had crashed into something in the water.
Something serpenty.
That's what Mosling reckons.
Huh.
Apparently the captain's coming around tomorrow morning. But Mosling says we need to think of something impressive to say to him.
No, I'll leave that to someone else.
It's probably best to leave it to Mosling, to be honest.
I think Constance is back in the chapel again now. Get us some food if you like. Imagine you're tired after all that, though.
Well, I think I could certainly do with a drink. To yes, good evening's work, but
I'll hand you a bottle of gin from my pocket. And then I'll reach into the cupboard and get a glass. I'm not an animal.
I'll put the kettle on.
look around for some tonic, I think.
Yep, you go.
I was going to say, Inga, Constance may have heard some chatting. So it's up to you whether you want to assume that people are back and head out to join in the conversation.
Yeah, I think I will. We've had a couple of days with no incidents with Gladys. I think she needs constant eyes all the time. So, famous last words. But yeah, I'll head down and see what the chat is, and yeah, find out what happened with Rachel. Would you guys get me up to speed on the same stuff as well then? Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Does this mean that we have some more reading to do then? Some other creature that's coming after? We've been picked off then? Something after Mosling, something after you, Bonneville?
Well, I think it's the same thing that's my particular well, it's the same thing that's been stalking me for a while. It's so infrequent that I thought I don't know. I thought I was imagining it, but no, tonight he was just stood there in the street looking at me. So yes,
Quite bold.
very.
Do you know what this thing is?
Not really, but I begin to have a well. The moon was full.
Would that mean anything to us? It probably wouldn't, would it? I don't know if back in
Quite
the
possibly
1800s
not.
I was going to say back in the 1800s, there
Yeah.
wasn't a common conception of what werewolf was, so we probably don't.
I don't know if there was a common conception of werewolves, but Victorians did have a belief that the phase of the moon were linked to weird supernatural things.
Mystical. Yeah. So it's not specific, but it's creepy things are around. Yeah.
Right. I've never done so much reading in all my life, and now just constantly in the library picking up books and moon phases. Then something about the moon.
Yes. Well, so it was a figure. There was a figure looking at me in the street, but the thing that attacked me way back when was like a dog. So
You think, or maybe this person's setting something like an actual dog,
yes, I had the scars
or
too.
like a dog.
It was dark, but the scratches it gave me were dog or wolf-like.
How does the figure relate to the dog?
I don't know. It just gives me when somebody's looking at you, that feeling you get. I just felt hunted.
Dogs are used in hunting. This could well be the person setting something on you. Something like that. Right. Have you done any research already into this, Mr. Bonville? If you said this has been a while, have you already exhausted the library books here?
Not maybe not here. I did some reading on that first case we went on. I think there were I think black dogs came up, werewolves came up, I think. But yes, I haven't. We've been so distracted by other things that I've not really spent the time since. There's always something else cropping up, it seems.
Well, it seems to be becoming unavoidable. We ought to do something about this. It does rather feel like we're being attacked on all sides at the moment.
Well, rather. I mean, again, to be fair, it's just scaring me currently. It's not, it's not causing crashes on the Thames or anything like that. So, in terms of priority, there's, there are other people's lives potentially at stake. It's, I don't.
This
I
thing
don't
attacked
want to,
you. Your life is at stake as well. Not to
She's
diminish
right.
the threat, but from what I understand, at least Mosling's just had, he's been frightened by this. It doesn't sound like there's been any attack there. But you've been actually attacked by some sort of dog or wolf or something. It's not trivial.
Next
If
time.
whoever's following you is behind the dog attack, then Constance is right.
If there's one piece of advice I can think of, Bonneville, is don't be hunted. next time you see it, if we're around, we got to confront it, not run away from it.
You might be, I guess. Yes, I guess we'll have to see what happens. Happily, tonight B was. I didn't want to interrupt. B was doing a grand job of trailing Rachel Brown, so I didn't. I just had to get away. But yes, perhaps I should be more vigilant and.
Do you still have the gun with the blessed bullets?
I
that
do.
helped
Yes,
with the
I
red
still
cap?
have some. I still have some bullets remaining. Yes.
If you're being hunted and this is something, well, I suppose you said it was at the station. We were around then, I suppose. But if this thing is trying to get you cornered or something, you'd best be prepared. Don't go confronting something, unarmed or unprepared.
What I want to know is why is it always in front of you? Because normally when you're hunting something, you follow along behind it, right? But you saw it at the train station when we'd just gotten off the train. And you rounded a corner, no idea where you were going, because you were following me, following Rachel. It was right in front of you.
Looking at me, yeah.
So how does it know where you're going to be?
I don't know.
That is a very astute question.
Also, what's it want with all this? Doesn't seem like it wants to get you. If it's following you without you knowing it's there, presumably, which it is if it can appear in front of you like that, surely it's had ample opportunity to get you by now, in one way or another. No, don't mean to scare you. But what it wants someone else then, maybe trying to scare you or get your attention. I don't know.
Yeah, you're probably right. Yes, it's the way that it appeared this evening was just, it was blatant. It didn't flinch when I saw it. Anyway, let's. I'll do some more reading and we can make plans later on. But well, as you said, we are beset on all sides, so I don't want to drag attention away from the other matters. Have you made any progress with? You didn't, Hux. You didn't see any sign of the fairy this evening?
No, nothing much. Constance has been
Well,
blessed in
hopefully-
place trying to get rid of it. Hopefully, we won't see it anymore.
Yes, hopefully we won't see it ever again. I hopefully we've put that one to bed at least. Not to bed, obviously. Driven right out of the house, in fact. Yes, I found something about that chapel bells and sprinkling holy water along the pathways. So I've been trying that as a ritual. Attempted to do something about it. Hopefully, if we just don't see it, I suppose it's one of those awful things you won't know other than by just constantly not seeing the thing. It's very difficult to prove that it's worked, I suppose, but hopefully that's that.
Well, I'll keep an eye out because I ain't gonna be doing any of that reading you folks will be doing. So I'm gonna go creep about a bit, keep a lookout for it, make sure it's gone.
John,
Yes.
does B react in any way when Constance mentions pathways?
She raises an eyebrow, but she stays largely quiet.
Even if Constance spotted that, would totally just take that as a, bit of a general
B.
kind of comment about like
A normal
exactly.
B reaction.
Constance doing rituals and stuff.
Exactly.
Just same old. Yeah.
I will walk over to Bonneville and just say, pat you on the back, rather like, ugh. Just say, it'll be right. We've got you back, and then top up your drink, and then I will wander off upstairs and sneak into Mosling's bedroom. Now, my reasoning to sneaking is I'm thinking if it's there, I want to sneak up on it because it might have come in when I wasn't in the room.
Are you now, or when you went downstairs to get your snack, is the door being left open at any point, or are you closing the door on each? Like, would you have thought Mosling might come home while I'm out of the room, so I'm going to close the door when I go out, or would you have left it open?
Oh, I'm not sure Hux thinks that far ahead. Let's roll the dice, see if I left it open or closed it again.
Okay.
I left it open.
Okay.
Ajar, slightly ajar. So I'm going to sneak.
Hux does strike me as the sort of person to leave doors open.
Sam, can you make me a vigilance roll, please?
There's no respect for people's privacy in this house.
Yeah.
I'm loving
Whether
the
I need to roll it
reaction.
or not, I am stealthy from the moment I'm coming up the hallway.
That's fine. That's fine.
Okay, what is my vigilance? 3, 4, 5 dice. 1 success.
Okay, as you open the door wider to the room, and the light kind of comes in, you spot a couple of small feet dive under the bed.
I will immediately stop moving and just be like at a whisper, I'll just go, "It's okay. I ain't trying to get rid of you. I just want to talk." And then I'll just kind of sit down and not make any more movements into the room. Actually, you know what? I'll actually move slightly into the room, but I'll deliberately move out the way of the door, thinking that maybe it wants to get out the door. So if it just wants to run away, I'm not intimidatingly stopping it.
Okay.
And then I'll just sit there for 5 or 10 seconds and see if it moves or does anything.
With your sort of kind words, can you make me a roll, please, on... I think is it probably going to be...
Manipulation?
I was wondering if it'd be... It's either going to be that or inspiration.
Please be manipulation.
I'm trying to look at the exact wording on which one is which.
Quite a big difference.
Yeah,
Down.
it probably... Yes, it is manipulation, I think.
Okay, that's 7 dice. Oh no! No, I'm pushing it. I want this to work. I don't care.
With 14 dice, no successes.
2 successes.
Okay.
And I'm going to be... Oh, am I angry or frightened? I think I'm angry. I mean, it's the most logical thing.
Yeah, okay. You see the sort of sheet lift slightly, and a small face with quite angular features kind of pokes out a little. Goes back under.
I'll just wait. I'm not doing anything. I'll maybe just say it a couple more times, like, "It's okay. I don't want to hurt you. Sorry about the smell of all the holy water." I've changed my mind. I'm not angry. I'm hopeless. That makes more sense. I think I'm hopeless because I feel like all the holy water has made this a very difficult endeavor. Because I'm literally lying like, "It's okay," immediately after someone has gone around the house being like, "Poison for you everywhere."
You're welcome.
Okay. The sheet lifts again, and you hear a... And can you make me an observation roll, please?
Yeah, sure. One success.
Okay. you are all of a sudden kind of hovering over a scene of basically this fairy that you now recognize as a fairy from its face, because I think Mosling showed you a picture, didn't he, from you're now 100% this is a fairy, and you basically see a vision of this fairy and Mosling sort of frolicking and having a lovely friendship, sort of running through the fields together, holding hands, and sitting down having a picnic, throwing sticks off a bridge together and watching them come underneath.
I'm just shaking my head incredulously at seeing all this.
Just this incredibly sort of innocent friendship, which you feel in your heart of hearts is exactly what this fairy wants to happen, and the reason that they are doing everything that they are doing now.
Now I understand why I'm hopeless.
And then you are back in the room. For the rest of this scene, which will be basically until you go to sleep, I'm making you aware of this, you require an extra success to pass any skill tests, and any additional successes will cause you a mental condition.
Okay, gotcha.
So you'll need 2 successes to pass, but 3 or more will cause a mental condition.
Gotcha. Okay.
Wow.
So bad things could happen. Do I think the fairy is still here?
Oh, can they?
What does that feel like? Like from my character perspective, can I tell that I'm like disorientated and kind of ill?
Yes.
What do I feel like?
Yeah. So when you come around, it's almost like as if you've been in a dark room and somebody's flicked a bright light on.
Okay.
So you're sort of, taking a second to kind of come around. You realize that the fairy has gone, and you realize that part of the reason that you are feeling hopeless is essentially a pass on from this fairy, because it doesn't believe that Mosling wants to be its friend.
Correctly.
Oh no. Okay. I think even though the fairy's gone, I will still fairly loudly, perhaps the others can hear it too, I'll just kind of yell out, hoping the fairy might hear me. But why Mosling? And that's like the last thing. That could be a nice end to the scene.
Oh,
Probably
God.
not doing anything else at that point.
This fairy is literally stalking me. And you guys think this fairy is a nice, regular, normal thing. It is not.
Constance doesn't.
This fairy is fucked up.
I'll tell you what. I will make. Although it's probably a terrible idea to make a roll. I will make an attempt to find out where the fairy went. Whether the fairy ran out the door past me as quick as possible, or whether the fairy might have gone into a corner in the room.
Okay, you can make an investigation roll.
Yeah.
Don't forget your success threshold.
I know. Well, I've only got 4, so it's pretty unlikely I break it.
Okay.
I get none.
Okay. You don't know how long this vision has gone on for. And equally, you are disorientated when you wake. So
yeah,
it's gone. As far as you're concerned, it could have walked past you and flicked you in the nose, and you probably wouldn't have been aware of it.
Gotcha. Okay.
But you don't spot it in the room when you're looking around either.
Okay. And slightly frustratedly, like pinching the bridge of my nose, like, oh. And then I'll go to get the bucket of mud and kind of clean it up, and just accidentally knock the whole thing over because I'm disorientated, and the mud just goes everywhere. It just slops across the floor. I'm just like, oh. I try and sweep it with my hand, and it's just not.
Were you guys all downstairs throughout this? Okay, so Hux disappears off, and about 3 minutes later, you hear the rattle of this metal.
You also heard me. You also heard what I yelled.
Why Mosling?
Yeah. Why Mosling?
I think we probably head towards the source of the noise. Find you scrabbling around in the dirt on the carpet.
Yeah, I'm in the dark. I haven't done the light or anything at this point. So.
What happened? Are you all right? Were you attacked?
Why are you in Mosling's room with a bucket of dirt?
This is very embarrassing. Yeah, I kind of was attacked, I guess. It's definitely a pixie.
Fairy.
Is it?
Fairy.
Fairy. Definitely a fairy, not a pixie. Sorry. Look, I'm disorientated. It's confusing. That one. It's definitely that one. I saw it. Full,
But-
there under the bed.
It was here just
Yeah.
now.
I think it not long ago, but it's a bit. I was out for a bit. It did something. It threw something at me, and I got like a vision. Weird vision. I don't really know how to explain it. So, yeah, the fairy was really, really happy, having a lovely time with Gale. Like, just all of the nice things, like a picnic and stuff. It was weird, but it
You
was
can't
very
trust
apparent.
anything that they've shown you. You can't trust anything.
It was
This is,
very apparent to me
these-
that fairy wants that to be true. You should have seen the way
It
it
is
reacted.
pursuing.
It's pursuing him for that reason. I don't know why. It's twisted and weird, but it wants him real bad. I'm kind of starting to agree with you, Constance. I think we need to get rid of this thing.
Did it bring the dirt in here?
No, that was me. But I point at Bonneville vaguely, the direction of Bonneville anyway, and say, he said it likes nature.
Yes, I said
And-
it likes nature. I was suggesting, I don't know, a bouquet of flowers or
Yeah, where am I going to get flowers from? I just wanted something. And then
I'm sorry, we're not getting these creatures flowers. This is absurd.
I
We
was-
need to get rid of this thing. And obviously, the ritual didn't work, or
Well,
it came in some other means. Perhaps the pathway comes in through direct to Mosling's room from the other side. Only came in through up to the doorway.
It could have come through the door. I don't know, to be honest. I left the door open, so I mean that suggests maybe it did.
Well, if the ritual had worked, it would have been gone altogether. Perhaps it's coming through a window, or there's
Look,
something else.
Sister Constance, it really wants Gale. Like, I think we've got to deal with that before we can deal with any of this.
That is exactly what I'm trying to do. If we get rid of the fairy, then
No, we've
problem
got to deal
solved.
with why it wants him. I don't think there's any amount of, holy water that will get rid of it unless you kill it.
Well, then that's what we ought to do.
That seems a bit extreme for something just trying to make a friend.
Yeah, well, we got to figure out why. You look, B. I know you say just trying to make a friend, but it was weird. Believe me, okay? It was a bit like imagine like all of the lovely blue skies and happy smile faces, and then just Gale being just the most joy. I'm sorry, it's muddled my brain. It was so odd and scary. Okay,
That sounds like it might be good for Gale.
I don't think so.
I don't think friendship is an excuse for being stalked.
Yeah,
And
no,
this,
that's the
there's
point I'm trying to
obsession,
make. It really
sounds
wasn't
like.
friendship.
Yes.
It was creepy. How many times do I have to say it was creepy?
I'm in complete agreement, Hux. Right. Well, obviously we need some sort of stronger measures or something, but
I need to go lie
thank
down.
goodness Mosling did head home after all.
I'll reach in the direction of someone to help me up because I'm kind of struggling to stand up.
I'll help you up. Yeah, that's fine. There is another way of getting rid of fairies, apparently, from the book that I read, and that's to if you're able to deceive them, if you're able to trick them, then apparently that is enough to send them on the way. So I hesitate to suggest it, but do you think Moslin could pretend to be its friend?
That might
No,
work.
it's a stupid idea. Sorry.
Do you think Mosling would have to be the one to trick this creature?
Not necessarily, but
Well, I mean, he's the only one that's got something it wants. I am kind of beckoning to my bedroom.
I think it would be rather cruel to try and put Mosling in that situation, given he obviously does not want to confront this creature, and by the sounds of it, understandably so.
True.
There must be another pathway or something like that. We've just not, or I've done the ritual incorrectly. I'll have to try again.
Let's think of it in the morning.
Could you close the door?
Hux, this thing you said it blew something in your face. Do you think there's any danger of this creature coming overnight? Is anybody else in danger of this thing trying to trick us or
I
force
think
visions upon us?
I think I only did it because I was trying to get it or find it. I reckon as long as you're leaving it alone and you're not modeling force mark, you're probably all right for now. It doesn't care about us, I think.
Well, I expect I'll be safe in the chapel regardless, but you ought to be careful.
Whatever that dust was, it'd be good to know more about it.
Johnny, is there any evidence of dust anywhere, like on Hux's person or on the floor?
Evidence of dirt.
You're on mute.
No, there isn't any sort of visible sign of anything.
Can we maybe go back to the library? See, this is usual. Like, the fairies usually try and befriend annoying Londoners.
Does it matter?
Well, yeah. Apart from anything from Mosling will probably know the word. From like a historical perspective. Well, if this is the first time a fairy's ever done anything, or done this thing, then isn't that something we should know about?
I suppose we ought to update the records for the society anyway with what we have found out, but
I guess it would be interesting
I
to know
suppose
if Mosling has some draw to these creatures. It would be. He did know then. He did seem. Oh yes. Do you remember in? You see, I've now forgotten the name of the place. Bodmin.
Bodmin.
Yes. Lady Spence. He had that turn when he saw the title of the book that she was reading. I think that had something to do with fairies, as I recall.
perhaps. I mean, if he's been stalked by fairies, then it's not too surprising that he'd be a bit taken aback by something like that.
Perhaps there's something about him that draws them to him. Anyway.
Well, if that's true, then it's all the more reason really to know how to get rid of them. That's really the salient point, I think. Anything else that helps with prevention or avoiding them in the first place, all the better. But we've got some at hand at the moment we need to deal with, so that's the priority, I think. And now we've got this other creature we've got to look up as well for you, Mr. Bonneville. I think I might take some books back up to the chapel again with me and read a little before turning in properly.
Yes, I'd probably head back to the library, and we need some sort of code for "you have checked the library too many times on this topic. Don't bother." Shorthand. But
as you uncover more things naturally, there may be things that you then can uncover. So Henry's going to the library. Constance is grabbing some books from the library and going back to the chapel. Hooks is in bed.
Yeah, I'm asleep now.
B.
I'm going to the weapons corridor.
Okay. Justin, was Gail just going home, or were you going to drop a note through the Times door or something?
Yeah, I was going to go to the Times office first. I assume there'll be someone in, but if there's not, then a note will do.
The front door does open. There is nobody in this entrance hall where you had previously seen Ben.
ooh,
Cool. Then I will go up towards the office. Is it Bradley or Blakely or?
So Bradley took you into
Bradley.
like an interview room
Oh.
rather than his office.
Then I'll be going to his office though, because that's where he'll be.
Okay, so there's like a door that kind of goes into the main office area, and there is one quite sort of stressed-looking
Clark.
young journalist or intern or something who is sort of scribbling away frantically in this notepad. I got kind of takes a moment before. Are you like entering the room, and when you see them, do you stop, or are you? They're sort of 5 desks away from the door, we'll say.
Yeah, I think I would stop to see if they notice me. And if they don't, then I'll go and get their attention.
Okay, I think in that case, probably once you've moved forward a couple of desks, they go, hello. Yes. Sorry. I probably should have locked the door. Can
Not
I help
at all.
you?
I was hoping to catch Bradley before, or someone I could leave a note with him for him about the incident on the docks. You may have heard about it.
Oh, yes. I've just been down and taken some notes actually, but Mr. Bradley's not in until the morning. But I could take a note for him.
Just say that Mr. Mosling Forcemark came by and wanted to let him know. Yeah, it's a hyphenated. We wanted to let him know that they had seen the grounding of the boat.
Grounding of the
boat.
Right. Yeah. Oh, is that everything?
Yeah, he can contact me if he wants any more information.
Full stop.
He knows my
contact
details.
Me.
He knows my details. That's
He
fine.
knows my details. Full stop. Great.
That's fine.
Okay. Lovely. Yes, I'll put that on his desk for the morning, sir.
Awfully late to be working. Is there any other good stories going?
No. Just like I say, I was working late anyway, as it happened, and then I got a tip about the riverbank, so I ran down. Very strange. Very strange. Yeah, strange stories coming from that. But anyway, yes.
Anything in particular? I was there. Maybe I could compare notes. It is. Gosh, past 10, but I could stay for a second. I'm somewhat of a journalist myself.
Oh, is that right? Are you at the Telegraph or?
No. I'm a travel writer, but sometimes the skills have some overlap. You could say I report on history and roads and trains.
Yeah, that's very similar to what we do here, sir. No, just they thought that they'd run aground of some pile of rubbish or something. Got working title for Mr. Bradley headline for the morning, actually, but loves his alliteration, so I thought I'd put something together.
Really? Let me guess. Ship, shape, something. There's something there.
Ship, shape, something. That's not bad.
It's not bad, but it's not good either. I must be off. I'll be going. I'll see myself out. Oh,
He
just
follows you towards the door, kind of taking out his key ring as he does so.
right. Yeah. Okay. I'll go. I'm not. I can't think of any other daring things that would
Knock him out and take the keys. You can.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, oh, just one more thing. Mr. Bradley said I could go into his office and ruffle around his papers for some reason. I can't think of why. I can't possibly think of what excuse I can have.
Suddenly this becomes a scene of Warhammer where you're playing Boniface and you've got in someone's house.
Very different characters. Very different characters.
You don't need to give a reason. You've just got to like,
You've just got to have an excuse.
Knowingly,
You don't have to tell me
like,
that you
just
lost
give
me
me
way
the
through most
keys.
things, but I can't think of any reason, so I'll go.
Cool. And then heading back home to bed, presumably.
Yeah. It's been a long day. It's been a long day.
Okay. Did you have any conditions? I think you got rid of yours, hadn't you? Yeah. Okay. So, sorry, John. What was B doing at this point?
I went to. Well, I said the weapons corridor.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Are you actually poking your head in the weapons corridor first thing?
I'm gonna poke my head in the weapons corridor. I'm gonna look under the stool that Hawkins put there.
Yep.
And see if there's any changes to that.
Nope. Still just what looks like the end of a trodden path.
Good. And then I'm going to go to the cupboard and I'm going to knock on the door.
Okay, there isn't an answer.
I think I'm going to wait a bit. And then I'm going to say out loud, I don't know if you're in there hiding, but you don't need to hide. And if your intentions are well, then perhaps coming out and talking might be more helpful. Because otherwise, you might have to leave without us seeing if we can come to an agreement.
How's your manipulation stat, John?
My manipulation is 1 and empathy is 2. So a total of 3.
Okay.
It's not great.
So,
well, as we've established, fewer dice is better than lots of dice.
It's true.
can you please just looking for the specific rule of something.
I am slightly concerned about these rules lookups.
Look, I'm
Okay.
really clear to you that fairies are evil.
Okay. I don't think you've been distributed an advantage yet this adventure, this arc. So I'm going to say that you have an advantage for the fact that you have provided a safe refuge, essentially, for this creature, which will give you 2 bonus dice, essentially, on interacting with them. So if you can make a manipulation roll, but you get 2 extra dice, so it'll be 5, I presume. Is that right?
Yes.
Is that a one-time thing?
It is once per session. I'm making an assumption that you would like to use it now. Is that still a no?
It's still a no, unfortunately.
Okay.
You could push it.
I could push it. It is the end of the day. I think I'm going to do that, actually.
Okay.
You don't heal them when you sleep.
No,
but you can do something nice before bed.
Yeah.
Come to Constance for some prayer. Repent your sins for
That would
providing
probably
safe
increase
refuge.
B's mental conditions, I think.
That is still a no, I'm afraid.
Wow. Oh, okay.
No.
You, from inside, you hear a that you can only assume is faked. But you maybe take a bit of solace in the fact that they don't just remain silent. So, like, it's almost like they don't want to offend you by not opening the door.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? But they're also,
Yeah.
they don't want to interact with you at the moment, but they're sort of like, yeah.
They're refusing to immediately interact with me, but they're not being actively hostile and they're trying not to be rude.
Yeah.
I simply say, sleep well. And then I go to bed.
Okay. Steve.
Yes.
Are you what? Which of the many things are you looking up in the in the library?
I would probably try to coordinate with Constance.
I was going to look for stuff relating to your. I feel like I'm all ferried out in terms of the books.
Okay.
So I was going to have a look for something that might explain your thing, dogs and moons and
sounds
hunting.
good. That sounds good. In which case, I will go back to the books about fairies and try and see whether there's a way out of this mess without Mosling having to take a small fairy on walks.
So, Steve, can you make me a learning roll, please?
I can. That will be 8. It's 5 plus 3.
Nothing?
Nothing. But I think I'm going to push that because taking the condition of hopeless. Because, yeah. There we go. 2 successes.
Okay. You find a story of again, like it's not a society report. It is a folk tale, but it is about an elven king essentially falling in love with a human. So while that doesn't seem to be exactly what is described by Hooks, Hooks experienced this as a very much a platonic thing, though it may have been bordering on obsession, but it was platonic rather than romantic. But this does seem to provide some sort of precedent for, a fondness between a fairy and a human.
Okay. So it could be genuine? Is that what you're...
Yeah. if you're going on the basis that folk tales do
Yeah.
come from something that actually happened, then yes, this could be. Yeah.
Folktales notoriously clean and never have any ulterior connotations or euphemistic stories.
Well, I think the feeling of hopelessness there is definitely from the thought of having to try to explain this to either Mosling or Constance.
Also, quickly, John, is B doing something either tonight or first thing in the morning to try and deal with that condition, or are you living with it for now?
I think I will deal with it first thing in the morning.
Okay, we'll deal with that in a
Because
minute.
most people are in bed at the moment. So, yeah, I'll
Yeah.
deal with it in the morning.
Same question for Henry, Steve? Or are you just living with it for now?
I'll live with it for now, yeah.
Okay. So are you going to bed after your book journey?
Yes, if no one else is, no one else is around, then yeah.
Constance may still be up in the chapel with Gladys, as far as you know. It's up to you. We'll jump over to Constance. So when you arrive back in the chapel, you see a rather excited-looking Gladys who comes over to you with the box in her hands and goes, "Look," and flicks it open. And the Spurter seems to maybe be asleep, which is
But it
not
otherwise
a
looks
state.
the same.
You've basically always seen it full of vigor.
Okay. I mean, this is excellent. Is this the first time you've checked on it?
Yeah, yes. I thought I'd give it a couple of watched pot never boils. So I thought I'd leave it a little while before checking. But yes, I mean, every other time I've ever opened this thing, it's been awake and angry, malicious. This is a new thing for me to see.
This is wonderful, Gladys. This is you should feel very proud of the work you've done. I mean, I know we've only really got started, but this is very promising.
She's got like a Bible sort of under her arm as she's yes, very exciting. Right, back to the good book. And she sits down and kind of tucks it into a pocket and then sits reading the Bible again.
Cool. And I'll crack open some of my books and have a little look as well.
Yes, a learning roll, please. So you're looking for werewolf stuff, which we've not looked at before.
Anything else like moons, werewolves, black dogs were the things I think Bonneville mentioned, and that's one success for me.
Okay. I don't think any of you really know, like, your characters don't really know anything about werewolf lore, do you? I don't think.
If it's not a common folk tale-y
Okay.
type thing in this world, then no.
Probably not in 18. Because, like, there's some information that to us you would go, yes, I know. But, like, as characters, it's... So, yeah, you basically see that in a previous interaction between the society and a werewolf, conventional weapons, when it was in wolf-like form, essentially did nothing, but silver seemed to have an effect. And you don't get the feel like you get tired, and I think you know it's quite late anyway. But
Yeah.
you certainly don't get the feeling that this is the end of what is available information about this, if you see what I mean.
Yeah. Boldened by some good news for the evening.
Is Henry dropping in to see if Constance is still up before turning in?
You know, I'm not sure I would be, actually, given the sort of the mental dilemma of, because I know that B is sort of like B and Hux and me to a certain extent are sort of, you know, fairy wise, sort of give it the benefit of the doubt. I know that Constance is absolutely not, and yeah, I've just got a lot to think on, so I'll probably just go to bed, try and get some sleep.
I think I'm feeling less give it the benefit of the doubt now than I was earlier this evening, I must admit.
There's just going to be a god awful fight between us.
I'm going to live with a fairy.
Okay, everyone to sleep. So morning rolls around.
I was going to say, I think I wake up at the crack of dawn and am annoying and wake Sister Constance to come into the chapel.
I was going to ask just quickly.
Constance would totally be awake by the crack of
That's
dawn,
fine.
by the
I
way.
would feel much less guilty knowing I hear you moving and then instead knock on the door gently and come.
We've got like a 5 a.m. start on you know more prayer. So yeah.
Gotcha. I will
just quickly. What time is Mosling coming round to Rose House?
I was planning on getting there very early, but maybe not at the crack of dawn. But I will be there by 7:30.
Okay, fine. Yeah, so let's deal with.
Cool. Yeah, I will quietly come in, and if you don't specifically ask me anything and you're at prayer, I will just come and sit and kneel next to you and pray with you. And I was going to use this as an opportunity to beat my hopeless mental condition by spending some quiet time in the church with Constance.
Yep. Perfect.
Very welcome.
Yeah, so let's say the three of you were just kind of there in quiet contemplation for 20 minutes, half an hour, something like that. So should we say 6 o'clock by the time you're done? Do you think you would be that early, Sam, with Hooks?
Yeah, I think I'll probably quietly spend the time with them, though, unless you get up and do other things this morning. You know, if you have breakfast in the chapel, which it seems like you might have been doing, I'll just stay with you. Might even try some knitting.
I bet Hux has secretly like got some knitting skills. Actually, he's acquired along the
Let's
way.
roll dice for that too. That's way too much fun to not roll for. He's not very good. Like, you think he's done it before, but he's not very good.
Maybe he's more of a crochet fan.
Yeah, exactly. I just can't get the hang of knitting, but obviously expert crochet.
What time is everyone else getting up?
Oh, I don't know, probably 7:30, 8ish.
I think I'll be up for I don't know, maybe like I think around the time that they finish praying.
Okay.
It's like, what would it be like? Do we say 6? 6:30?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's about when I'd say actually when B gets up, Hawkins is in the kitchen, sort of boiling up some water, and sort of, you know, maybe getting some eggs out and that kind of thing. Morning. Some of the others are in the chapel, I believe.
I'll give him some space then.
Breakfast?
Do you need a hand?
I don't need one, but it's certainly you're welcome.
Right. I'll start on the eggs then.
Cool. Yep. Put a breakfast together.
Yep.
Is that your healing?
Yeah. I'm feeling pampered and out of touch. I need to do something. Do something.
Hawkins, I think, is a good judge of like he's fine and he's comfortable in a silence. So if you want to talk, he will converse. But if you're, just quietly getting on, he's quite fine with being around other people and not talking. He's a butler, so
B will prefer the silence.
cool. Once you've sort of put some food together, he says, "I'll take these to the chapel." And he gets 3 plates and 3 cups of tea. You're not exactly sure how he's carrying them all, but
Butler magic.
yeah. And he gets up the stairs quicker than you would imagine is possible while carrying all of that as well. And then you hear the door open to the chapel, and you're even less sure how he's done that.
I'm becoming less and less convinced that Hawkins isn't a Vaesen.
And he, I think if you guys are all being quiet in the chapel, he sort of comes to where you are and will just put a tea and a breakfast on the sort of pew next to where you are sitting. And unless anybody says anything to him, he'll just quietly leave the chapel. And then Mosling arrives at about 7:30. It is light by that point outside. The sun's kind of just coming above the like easterly, buildings. So you're full light, but the sun's kind of just above that. And Bonneville's probably heading downstairs at about the same time. So you would catch each other in the hallway. Would you still be sat in the kitchen, do you think, around the table at that point, or would you have headed off to do anything else?
By that point, I probably would have fetched Adam for his breakfast.
Yeah.
So I will be in the dining room.
Yeah. Hawkins catches you both as you head downstairs / into the building, respectively. Morning, sirs. 3 in the chapel, and Adam and B taking breakfast in there. Tea? Breakfast?
Yes, please.
I'll bring it through, please.
I'll go and join B and Adam. All right.
Justin, you going the same way?
Yeah, I will do, yes. Although, yeah. Oh, actually, I might head up to my room and to the library to collect a few things that will be useful talking to this captain, which will include the photo of the sea monster and maybe a few notes on the sea serpent stuff.
When you first came into the house, did you say anything out loud to people?
If I saw anyone, I'd have told them good morning.
I don't know if that's too far-fetched, Johnny. Could I have made a vigilance to see if I've heard that Mosling Force Mark has entered the building?
I think from where you are, you can hear murmurs of conversation,
but I wouldn't
quite
know
believably. But I don't think you would necessarily know who it was.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Oh, in fact, make me a vigilance roll to see if you can hear the front door.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable.
5. Nope.
Okay.
So I am blissfully unaware and entirely forgotten the mess I made in Gail's bedroom, and don't think about it at all when he comes upstairs.
Did you Did you lock his room? No. Okay.
I did nothing. I literally let the half-filled bucket of mud.
So this is
unless anyone else did anything.
this is a
and I
true
collapsed in bed, and I didn't think about it when I came by in the morning. I went straight to the chapel. So
this is a true test of Hawkins then.
of Hawkins.
Exactly. Yeah.
We'll just have to see. Hux has not remembered yet. That was what that vigilance roll was.
Okay. So Mosling goes up to his room.
Mhm.
Key in the door. Oh, you muted, Justin.
If the door is ajar, then do I
The
need
door
to
is
follow?
ajar. No, the door is
Then,
not.
yeah, obviously I'll unlock the door.
Okay. Yes, it unlocks.
I go into my room to collect my things.
It is exactly as you left it.
Excellent. I will collect my things, collect all of my equipment, and collect those things that I looked for. There's no sign to me that this has been disturbed at all.
No, not
Apart
at all.
from my bed has been made.
No, it is exactly as you left it.
Damn it. In which case, fair enough. I will close and lock my door and head to the library.
And are you just grabbing some books and taking them with you?
I think so, yes. And then I'll head down to breakfast and have another bit to eat.
Yeah. Are Hux, Constance, are you staying in the chapel, or are you going to head down, assuming that everybody else is going for breakfast? You might want to chat with them, or
Yeah, I think I'll go to join them now. It's like 8
Okay.
or 9 in the morning. Yeah.
Hawkins catches you, Hux, as you are coming downstairs, and says, "Terribly sorry, sir. You might be in for a bit of bother with Mr. Mosling Forcemark. I totally forgot to do anything with his room."
He's not here yet, is he?
Yes.
I'll dash straight upstairs.
Smashing into Mosling Forcemark on the way down with his camera.
Yeah, it depends where you are. Yeah,
That's where I am.
Yeah, if you pass Mosling, yeah, you
Yeah, I will like meet you on the stairs, half dashing, and realize it's you, and just stop and just be like, "Good night last night."
Yes. Good morning, Mr. Huxley. How are you today?
All right. Is everything all right up there?
I haven't seen that thing today, but if I do, I am going to give it a piece of my mind.
I think Hux knows when to shut up and doesn't say anything else, and just nods and goes and just nonchalantly continues walking up the stairs, and goes to look at the door and sees it's locked, and tries to peer through the keyhole to see if I can see what it looks like inside the room.
Yeah, make me an investigation roll.
But I'm probably already at this point assuming that it's not messed up, because he would have said something unless he's really holding something back. Where's my investigation? 2. Okay. Yeah, I got success.
The room looks exactly how it did, you think, apart from there's no dirt everywhere.
Okay.
So, not a freshly made bed, which you would assume Hawkins would have done if he'd been in, but also not in the state you left it in.
Yeah. Okay.
And Hawkins did tell you that.
Yeah, I mean, I fully don't believe that Hawkins is lying. Okay. I stand there for a second, scratch my head, and then go downstairs.
Okay, as Hawkins brings through the breakfasts for Mosling and Monaville, he also drops off the copies of the morning's papers, which is a daily thing that you get those. Is one of you jumping for the times first off?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. You see the headline is not shipshape something. It is Thames Trash Talon trashes trawler.
I was so close. I knew I was Thames Trawler was what I was gonna go for.
Which at first you look at and go, huh? And then you see that basically throughout the article, the belief is that the boat had hit some kind of rubbish heap that had formed, and then what is of note is that it says that then it looked like the top section of this pile of sort of rubbish then was knocked with such a force to the side of the river that it kind of was taken off into one of the sewage sluice pipes. And then there is a knock at the door, and you hear the door open, and Hawkins says, yes, please come in. And the door to where you are opens, and the man who Mosling would know was the man that he'd spoken to, the captain of the ship, walks in and says, so you think it's one of them, do you? And we'll leave it there.
Cool.
Well, that might explain something. Interesting.
Cool. Thanks, everybody. I'm going to do XP immediately because that's what a professional would do who remembers about XP. Did you participate in the session? Yes, you did. Did you confront any Vaesen? I kind of want to say yes. Like as a group between you, there was like a did you identify a previously unknown Vaesen?
No.
No.
I don't think so.
Were you affected by your dark secret? Steve was. Nobody else was. Did you take risks to protect other people? Don't think so. Have you learned anything? Yes, we've learned things again. Did you develop something in your headquarters? No. Did you perform an extraordinary action? No. So 2 or 3 for Henry. Has anybody got enough to boost anything?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Nice.
Probably going to buy a point of something.
I might look at another talent, I think.
Cool.
Probably next time.
Isn't it
Sorry, go on, John.
3 or 4.
Or 4 for Henry? Yeah.
Oh, is that right?
I
Yeah,
was
sorry.
wondering,
Yeah.
I think I didn't confront any Vaesen, so I'm going to give myself 2.
Okay.
It's up to you if you say that as a group, yeah. Because, I mean, the dark secret's just Steve, so you could argue the confronting is just individuals as well. Or the extraordinary action stuff.
Yes, other things on the chat. So this is Mondays, we do Vaesen. Wednesdays, we do Simba Room. We have one-shots on varying weekend days. The next one is Sunday, the 14th of May, and it is the Bat Out of Hell RPG scenario that I have created. It's going to be fun, I think. And there are links to our YouTube and our social media and our Discord, which you should join and come and chat with us, and our Patreon, all below the stream. You can support us on there. That's everything. And if you have any questions or comments, please put them in the chat. Do we have any subscribes or anything, John, to say thanks for?
We do, but I didn't get it on screen beforehand because I am not a professional. Thank you for the follow from Viking Blonde.
Thanks, Viking Blonde.
I mean, I think that's categorically true. We're not like, trained professionals or like we do this as a job. So, I mean, it's fair. We're not expecting you to be a professional, John. It's okay. We forgive you.
I can at least have the decency to pretend,
You're saying that this is Amdram.
What I'm really saying
Justin's
is,
out.
What I'm really saying is, all the people watching, start paying us now. Hurry up! This is getting out of hand.
As soon as we can all earn a living wage off this job,
All
we're
of
going to
us.
start being professional.
we need to start holding people to ransom. We're not going to finish the story unless you start.
Don't tempt with a good time. A forever mystery.
Forever mystery.
Oh yeah, we've got a question about it.
Is the Bad Out of Hell one-shot musical episode? Due to copyright restrictions, no, it's not. Otherwise, it probably would be. Will there be like numerous references to the best album of all time? Yes, there will. Will it be to the tune of any of the songs? Legally, no.
I thought it was going to be to the tune of Leapmof, wasn't it? That was what you were chatting about on the Discord earlier today.
If I sing like the lyrics to one Meatloaf song to the tune of another Meatloaf song, would that trigger any copyright bots?
Maybe if you sing it to the tune of a Meatloaf song, but in like one key lower, so it doesn't get picked up by the algorithm.
There's
That's
fair
the
use,
trick.
isn't there? You can have like 5 seconds or 10 seconds of a song.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure if
Name
Meatloaf
that
were
tune.
here, he would thoroughly agree and be happy with us using his music in our stream.
But Meatloaf is not here.
If Meatloaf
It's
were here,
saying,
Constance would be
spirit.
applying the holy water.
Any others, John?
I think that is. Yeah, I think that's it.
Cool. Oh, thanks for Top Down Tabletop for the comments as well in the chat. A new person. Cool. Well, we are back next week, and Simba Room is on Wednesday. So please jump on for that, and we'll hopefully see you next week. Cheers, everyone.